I first discovered you, I would assume like hundreds of thousands of people, if not millions, when you were on Letterman and you did Blues Hand-Me-Down and you killed it. Was that as much of a career highlight as I think it was?
Was it a career highlight? Absolutely. I mean, the only reason I thought about it was because I was thinking how much of a highlight. It's one of the biggest highlights for us, especially here in America. And what a lot of people don't know is besides how exciting it was on David Letterman, the night before we played Madison Square Garden with The Who. So, and then add on top of that, I grew up in New Jersey, raised in New York City, this kind of thing. And so for me, it was a hometown show. And then because the Letterman show was filmed so late, we then had to get a police escort to take us from New York to New Jersey to play with The Who that night. So the period of about 36 hours was unbelievable. I mean, from seeing our name on the marquee, because The Who, they were so good to us as far as being a supporting act and becoming friends with us. They were so good with us. They literally had our name on the marquee with theirs, not just The Who. So there was that thing. And then we walk into the next morning, we walk into the Ed Sullivan Theater. Mm-hmm. And what's really crazy, here's something really crazy, is that we pull up to the Ed Sullivan Theater and there were people lined up for blocks and blocks. And you were like, oh my God, they're here to see us. But they were doing a double filming that day. And they were filming us and One Direction. So people were lined up all around the block to see One Direction. And it was exciting for a second to think that we had the masses lined up at the Ed Sullivan Show to see us on that show that night, David Letterman. But it was an amazing show anyway. And I think, we had one other television performance that I think battles it as far as the impact, which would be we played Blues Hand-Me-Down on the Jules Holland show.
Sure.
In the UK. And so to feel that same kind of thing in our home country, obviously, was big for us. And it was a coming home that we could not have asked for anything better than that.
Right. I'm probably, the second we hang out, going to watch that performance again because it was just such a magical thing that you captured on Letterman. But of course, you were still doing it at a high level all these years later, and you're still giving back. And before I ask about other stuff, I want to ask about the new single that you put out to benefit people that are struggling a little bit. How long was it from coming up with the idea to actually having something done?
Do you already know the answer to this and you're just prodding me on for this interview?
That would be correct, sir.
Okay, so Nale sent me this guitar track. I was just talking to him about how we were in this quarantine and how I was feeling like I needed to amp up my optimism because there were people that were struggling and they need to see good examples of endurance and resilience. And he told me that he was feeling depressed. And I know that Rick Barlow-Dill was also feeling depressed. So half of my band they were feeling the darkness of the time. And so when Nale sent me this guitar track, I was like, oh my God, I have to slip into the skin of some people that are feeling differently than me in order to feel what they're feeling because, we're all one.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. So right away, I got this guitar track that felt so heavy. I told him, I like to do this with myself sometimes so I don't just wander because, I probably got the ADHD thing. So I told him, by the time you wake up, he sent it to me at 7 o'clock in the evening. I said, by the time you wake up in the morning, I'm going to have finished the lyrics and melody and I will send you back this track. I knew right away because I took a walk that I wanted to represent this darkness in a way that I could relate to, even though I'm not a dark person and I'm not a fatalist. So then I started thinking about things in my history that I could relate to. And then I thought about Maya Angelou's poem, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. And that was the beginning of the impetus for my melody and my lyrics. So then I thought about us being in cages. And as soon as I thought about that, I thought about all the things that we do on the outside that we're going to have to do inside now. And so most people think I'm talking about outside in, like, I don't know. Everyone can interpret their own way. That's the best thing about lyrics. But for me, I thought about all these things that are on the outside. We have to understand about how to feel them now on the inside. And it felt like a prison. and it felt like a prison sentence that was not explained to us. And then it felt like we didn't know how long we were going to be in this prison, and we didn't understand what we could do here, what we were allowed to do here. And then it even got heavier than that, because without warning, it made me start thinking about all the things that I might not have taken advantage of on the outside. So then I started thinking to myself about family members and ex-lovers and friends and these people that maybe I didn't hug as good as I could have hugged them. And I'm a hugger, but there were some words that I didn't get to say that I would want to say to people face to face. And so there was so much emotion, so many thoughts. All I had to do was really string them together. And the melody of the chorus I came up with first. And I wanted that to honor the depth of the guitar progression and tone that Nolly was using. But then I needed for it to feel a little bit more like today. I didn't want it to just feel like a classic rock song. I wanted people to understand when they listen to this in the future that this was written in 2020. So then I started listening to some hip hop that night. And I started finding different cadences that didn't feel comfortable inside of the frame that Nolly sent me. And so then I tried to find comfort in the discomfort. And then I just started finding patterns. And then I just threw the words in, and then all of a sudden it was there, and I was crying, and I couldn't handle it. And I just remember the last lyric that happened was I'd sent the song before Nolly even heard it. I sent it to my friend Camila, and there's a line in it is Lord, send down your angels. And and Camila said that her mother used to always say, your prize angels, like, the best ones, the prize fight, like the prize angels. So that was the last change, was that send down your prize angels. And whenever I sing that line, it feels really weighted, because I know it's weighted in old gospel spirituality, but then also it's regular angels can't even handle this right now. We need the best of the angels. And, some people are religious, some people are not religious. I hope people just get the metaphors of this. Whatever the help is we need the best of the help. And not even the best, but like the champions of help. And that was it. That's how the song came about. So the long-winded answer I just gave you was, the song was written within the first 12 hours. And then within the first 48 hours, we already had the video done. And then we had to wait another couple of weeks, because it's a business, sometimes you want to just hop on things and go quickly. But we wanted to do some partnerships, and we wanted to make sure that as many people could hear it as possible, would hear it initially. So we held off. And that was also like a cage, because we had this thing that we wanted to release. And so the song itself felt like a bull behind the cage, not just us.
Yeah.
And there it is, outside in.
And the McGee Entertainment way is of course why you were strategic in the partnerships and having it come out at the right time. But you just said a lot of things in that answer that are very poetic and very oriented to creativity. You said the comfort in the discomfort and all that. Are you the kind of guy that's just writing all the time, and you've got all these books and books of lyrics? No.
Really? Not at all. I think because I'm a romantic, I speak poetically. And because I romanticize about a time when wordplay was more exciting, and banter with wordplay was really sexy. So I just think about stuff like that all the time. Everyone says I should write stuff down more. I don't even have a lyric book. So I just talk this way, and I'm overly spiritual. I'm like that guy. Just because it's really important. It's important to me to go a little deeper than we tend to want to do on an everyday existence. I think that's part of why, honestly, not to get too woo, but I think it's part of the problem right now. I think that a lot of this stay-homeness is important for us, because it's teaching the non-spiritual about how to be spiritual. And a lot of the things that people are learning in their homes right now are a lot of the things that people that concentrate on mindfulness that we think of nonstop. So I'm thrilled that the army of deep thinkers is being expanded because of this heavy time.
So
army of deep thinkers. It just comes out. I'm just telling you.
Where's the pen here? The comfort and the discomfort. Come on. But
it's silly. It's silly. Today, I mean, okay, but first of all, this was not like some intention. I didn't know I was coming on here and wanted to wear a black and white t-shirt like you. And then I also didn't wear this We Rise thing on purpose. But I cannot be in any interview today and not talk about George Floyd, right?
Sure.
Jesus Christmas. Yeah, it's really emotional for me because I talk about this a lot. And as an African American, when things like this happen, the fact that so many people seem surprised is hard for me to take. You know, I have friends that I'm with every day that quite often ask me if I really think racism is bad as people think it is. I'm in a band with three people that aren't minority. They don't even ask me how I feel about what's happening. And so I think a lot of our problem right now is that people are not asking questions enough. People that don't understand other people's struggles aren't asking them what that's about. You know, I think we have to understand each other more in order to be there for each other. Everyone tries to say like, "Oh, I'm there for you," but people don't ask questions.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what does this make me feel like? It makes me feel like the other day I did a social distance tailgating party with some people, right? And we're out in the park at the Hollywood Bowl, up on this level that's above everything. And I locked my keys in the car. No, I didn't. That's a lie. I left the radio on during the party because I was like the DJ.
Yeah.
And my battery died. So then I had to call AAA. Did you want to be talking about music? Is this silly? Is this boring to you?
No. Hey, I've been listening to your music for a long damn time now. So what you want to talk about is what we talk about.
Okay, so here's the deal. I locked my keys in the car. And then, so the fact that I keep saying that. My battery died.
Yeah.
So my battery died, and I had to wait for AAA. And then I was with a friend of mine. So when AAA got there, my friend and I were running toward the car. Oh. And then I realized I'm behind my friend running to this car with a mask on.
Right.
And I'm black. I say black, but I'm African American. And then so that fear in me for that second, like I literally had that second of vertigo. You know how sometimes you stand next to an edge you're on a height somewhere and you look over and you get that rush in your body.
Every day when we stand by our balcony.
Right. So for one second, I had that rush in my body about what if something's going to happen to me right now while chasing my friend to go get my car.
Yeah.
Like, what if someone misinterprets this and I'm the one being tackled by some cop or something? You know, it's an overly. We're living in a nightmare. And I don't even think we need to change it into a dream. I think we need to realize that this nightmare is a reality. And I think once we know that it's a reality and really take it into account, I think especially us artists, because it doesn't seem like people are getting it by reading the news and the 101 information sources. I think we as artists are being called on more so now than ever. It's the time that we all romanticize about in the 70s, the blowing in the winds, the 60s change is going to come, the 50s we shall overcome, all these kind of things. We as artists, it's our time to write the songs, to make the paintings, to speak the poetry, to do all these things that maybe we can seep into the zeitgeist in a different way.
Sure.
And affect people without them feeling like they're being schooled, but just schooling them through different avenues. I think, Vintage Trouble, we have this song called Everyone is Everyone. It's part of our Chapter 2 collection. And I've never felt more, a need to play and sing that song. You know, I don't even play guitar and stuff that much anymore because Nolly's such a good guitar player. But I literally texted him this morning and said, I need to borrow some acoustic strings because I need to play Everyone is Everyone today. And I need to sing it, on my balcony or in a dark room or somewhere. I just need to strum and sing. And, I wrote those lyrics, and we wrote that song years ago. But it's like the words are still relevant today. It just feel like we're not getting anywhere sometimes. Like with the advancement that we have going on, so much advancement. It's odd that we're just going around in circles. And so I'm crying out to all the artists. We gotta do something. Sometimes art does change society.
Right.
And the music and we've got to work as an army and really feel like we do matter. And yes, we're not sitting up in some of the offices that are signing the way that signing of the rules and the ways that we're having to live our lives right now. But there are other ways that artists do it, and we know it. We march down streets, we get people together. We can't be together now, but we can still be social distance wise. We can still reach out to people, and it's a big time. It's a big time for change, and I hope that the music on the landscape and the tapestry of the music of this time is really going to represent something that seems like we were partially responsible for getting us out of this mess.
Well, the conversations will continue. There's no quick yes or no or, oh, so that's what he meant.
Exactly.
It's all going to keep going, but you definitely strike a point there that prior generations said, well, Woodstock is going to have all the answers. It didn't, but it did change a lot of minds.
It did, exactly. And, if it did lead to some good things, hey, I am able to walk in the same doors with my band at my gig. So, yes,
Right.
Some change has happened. You cannot acknowledge the change has happened.
Right.
But I think a lot of times, like even with Woodstock, like you're talking about, a change will happen. And just because we are feeling a change, then some people use that as an opportunity to disguise it as more of a change than it looks like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because we're all light and hearted and, loving and doing all this kind of stuff, then what can happen is that people can slip in and have some things going on under rugs that we don't know about. So, we just got to push forward and hopefully look under all the rugs before we walk on them. And, just keep pushing and keep believing that it can be better. Because that's the hard thing. So, there are many days right now where we just want to shake our head and be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But we can't do that.
No. Well, can I throw you a huge compliment here? Because some people don't take compliments well. Okay. I don't see a lot of performers who are as high energy as you are while still able to sing on melody, on key, and all that. Before you hit the stage, what do you do that you're able to keep up all that energy for such a long period of time?
Okay, well, I'm going to guess that this is a question that you'd written before we started talking on this interview. Because as you can tell,
but specific to you.
No, specifically me. You can tell by me standing here that energy is never a problem for me to find.
Right.
I don't do anything before I go on stage. I eat a hamburger and sip a shake, and then I go on stage. It's that's really it. Now, as far as the technical skill, because what you did mention was about singing on pitch and doing this kind of stuff. I think I was one of those kids that from the time I was able to walk, I was singing along as a butterfly outside my window. From the time I was singing along to songs on the radio, playing records, I was also doing backflips on beds. So I was doing the combination of those things since I was a kid. So it just comes natural. And then, I trained and, I grew up doing theater. And so the training I had and having to do something 8 times a week professionally, you just get your shit together. And it's that simple. So the combination of having a high energy, the combination of probably early on hearing a couple videos back where I didn't keep the vocal together when I was doing the jumping up and down, and I didn't want that to last in time on some YouTube or something, that also made me make sure I started singing. I like challenges too. I'm going to send you a video to your phone after we're done.
Yes.
Of this little thing that it was one of the Run Like the Rivers where I'm being lifted and pushed and upside down, and I'm singing, carry me back to the stage. I'm singing that to the people, and you can tell that I'm being an asshole. As in, I'm asking for more punishment so that I can see if I can keep singing on pitch. You can see the little kid in me wanting more of a challenge. Yeah.
Okay, so it's a gift, but you've maintained that gift. That's great. And
Yeah.
two quick questions, and then you're free. And the first one is, I mentioned before McGee Entertainment, who have been your champion for a long, long time now. Were you a Kiss fan, or did you just happen to work with Doc McGee and team?
Okay, well, first of all, I'm guessing this is the first interview I've said this. We're not with McGee Entertainment anymore.
Oh, okay.
And so there's that. This is the first interview we've heard me say that. But we're still amazing friends. They're still our family. They are I definitely consider them responsible for so much of our success. And, I talked to Doc yesterday and these kind of things. I've known Doc. I was in a band called Dakota Moon. It was the first record deal I got. And Doc we were almost going to be managed by Doc McGee then. So he and I have had a relationship since the 90s. And we're really great friends. And so we're actually with Cast Management now. And so for Outside In, it was their plan for us to hold off. And part of that was because of the fact that it was going to be the first single we'd released with them. They wanted to make sure that it had some eyes on it.
Okay, so Cast Management, going to look into them and all that. So in closing, Ty, any last words for the kids?
You mean the kids of the world? The kids of the kids? Any last words for the kids? No. I mean, I will have some first words for the kids, and we can continue this conversation with the kids a lot later. My first words to the kids are this. I guess it's not the first words because we've been talking. But my words for the kids are just, I think, to concentrate on each other as much as you concentrate on yourself. And I mean that musically. I mean that spiritually. And mainly, I just mean it as just being a good human. And the more we know about each other, the more we can celebrate each other, and therefore we'll be celebrated. And so anyone, listen to other people's music as much as you listen to your own. Just concentrate on listening, feeling other people just as much as you're speaking and thinking about yourself.
There you go again. You just said a bunch of lyrics without realizing it. Well, thank you so much for your time. You gave me so much to work with, and hope when this all blows over, we'll be seeing you live in New York very soon. That'll
be great. I'm going to send you that video as well.
Awesome. Well, thanks again for your time, Ty. In the meantime,
I'll talk to you
great rest of the day. Take care.
Take care. Bye.
Paltrocast.